Joining us in the studio is Dhiraj Relli. He is Managing Director and CEO at HDFC Securities to get a perspective on the markets as they stand. Great to have you on the show, Dhiraj.
Thank you.
How are you looking at the markets and the kind of direction that they are taking? What are the factors, besides, of course, the elections that you're watching out for, that is going to determine how much further these markets can move in either direction?
So markets have been looking for triggers for quite some time. It has been lackluster for many months. If you look at, January 29, when we had all-time hit levels, 11,171. From there onwards, it moved to on 23rd March to almost 9,952 levels. I'm talking about the Nifty levels. And from there onwards, we have seen some kind of a recovery in the market, and markets are looking at some reasonable triggers to take the direction. Karnataka elections, I believe, will be a fleeting event, and it will have a very short-term impact on the market, because in any case, we've seen that from the outcome of the opinion polls, which is not favorable for the ruling party. So no one has given them a clear majority. So to that extent, I believe that it's not yet, their victory is not priced in the market to that extent. And I believe that, whatever will be the outcome, it will have an impact, short-term impact. Maybe, if it is a negative, maybe 200-point odd correction in the Nifty market. And then afterwards, markets will move on to look at a bit of a long-term direction. And I think the near-term direction will come from the spread and intensity of the monsoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Dhiraj, I want to get your take on what's happening with crude, because there are all sorts of predictions about oil hitting 100. Very quickly, as an investor, how should one be looking at where we are when it comes to the volatility that we're seeing in those prices?
I think crude is the biggest worry what we have in India at present, because we import almost 80 to 85% of our crude, and the prices are going up. If you look at FY17 numbers, India did produce only about 264 million barrels, and our consumption was 1,800 million barrels. So to that extent, we are dependent on import, and if crude prices are increasing, it will have a negative impact on the economy. It will have a cascading impact on inflation. It will have impact on current account deficit. So it is a big negative for India.
Well, there's no taking away from the fact that crude and the kind of volatility that we're seeing in prices over there could determine a lot by way of the direction that the markets take here on for the kind of impact it can have on so many different sectors, and that includes aviation. We've talked about the paint stocks as well, but going ahead, that's the one to really watch out for. Meanwhile, what's happening on pharma stocks? Now, that's a worry area that's coming in, because the Trump drug pricing speech is going to certainly add to the uncertainty that we are seeing for healthcare investors. He's to give a speech on controlling prescription drug prices, on the back of which we're seeing so many of the stocks within our pharma universe take a hit in trade today. Stocks like Sun Pharma, Lupin, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, Aurobindo, Cadila, all of these that have exposure to the US market. So how is the pricing going to play out in those markets is the worry on which those stocks are reacting, and quite a lot at that. Look at the 1.5% cut coming in on a Cadila. Sun is taking a cut of about 3.5 percentage points. How much of a worry is this, Dhiraj? How much should investors be concerned about the Trump administration's pricing policy when it comes to prescription drugs?
So to that extent, I think pharma companies will have some benefit of rupee weakening, but apart from that, they have been struggling with their regulatory concerns coming from the US FDA. But the generics are looking forward to be normal, and I believe that we can look at pharma selectively. They have already corrected; it's already priced in. So to that extent, we are almost close to the bottom, and we are closely monitoring these events, and we believe that very soon we'll get the right kind of valuations for pharma stocks.